I had done tons of properties in San Bernardino. Paris and San Bernardino had similar numbers, but I hadn't done anything in Paris. And he's telling me about Paris and the bedrooms and the bathrooms and square footage, and he was actually giving me the parameters of the north, south, east, west streets that he wanted too. And the price points, and I'm like, I have that exact stuff, that exact stock in San Bernardino, because I have a ton of agents working, and I have that coming in all the time, but I have nothing in Paris. And he's like, here's the deal. I make more money in my sleep than most people make all year long. I live in a big house on the beach. I own 300 houses, free and clear. I don't want to drive up to San Bernardino. All my houses are in Paris, so if I need to look at a house, I go to Paris and I can look at 15. If I have one house or two houses or 10 houses in San Bernardino, it's inconvenient for me. I'm about convenience at this point in my life. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? And so then, so we had this great conversation. Do you know what I did? As soon as I got off the phone with him, I called a freaking agent. I'm like, where are the best agents in Paris? Here's my information. We need to own everything. Not only stuff that hits the MLS, I want to know what's owned free and clear. We're targeting those people. We're targeting expired listings. We're targeting vacant properties. We're targeting probates. We're going with code violations. Like, everything that fits that criteria, we're like hitting it all. We are going to get properties for this too, right? Like, and so about 10 days, 2 weeks later, he called me back, and this was his second voice message.
David, you said it was calling. I thought I'd just check in with you and text you and see what you had for me in Paris. If you found anything yet, just checking in. Don't need to return the call if you don't have anything. I just got $100,000 burning a hole in my pocket like my house.
He has a lot of problems, right? We all want to help David, right? Here's the really great thing. He sounded fun. You could tell he's like a really nice guy, right? And so we found properties for him. And one of the very next phone calls I had with him was, okay, so David, obviously you have too much money. Do you ever fund projects, like rehab projects for other people and like take a percentage or like profit share? And he's like, yes. What are you thinking? And I'm like, I find the property, I manage the rehab, you fund it, and we split everything 50-50. And he's like, I'm in. He was bringing, this was a couple months ago. The deal actually fell through, but he was funding it for me. It was a $2 million deal. He was bringing all the cash to the table for me. I had nothing out of my pocket on it. So, like, these cash buyer relationships are everything for you. How many do you need? Like, I hear other people talk about, yeah, right? Like 10, like it's a relationship.
You need a few good men.
There you go. Like, I talk to other investors and they're like, how big's your list? And I'm like, I work with like 8 to 12 people consistently, and they're like, oh, I work with 100. And I'm like, 100, you know 100 people, like on your email list? What are you talking about? You don't know 100 people. Like, I know him. We go to lunch. Like, you end up becoming friends with their kids. We'll talk about the cash buyers more in a second. Here is a property. I actually did on vacation. The cash buyer called me. Again, I sent a letter out. The cash buyer called me. This was the agent. I have seen this one, but the agent found this one on the MLS. It was a probate sale. This one's in San Diego. They had multiple offers on the property. It was owned free and clear. 2 phone calls. So the cash buyer called me, and he asked if I had anything. First of all, I never ever have anything. I never have inventory. Like, when I have a deal, somebody takes it right away. That's the entire plan. You never want to sit on anything, right? So I said, I don't have anything. What is it that you want? He told me his criteria, and I said, I'd probably be getting something pretty quick. And within a week, my agent in San Diego called me about this deal. It was the week of Christmas. I was gone for 3 weeks in Jackson Hole. So this one, I was on vacation again. I only made $2,500, but I was on vacation. Again, I had maybe got a couple hours working on this deal, just literally moving the parts, getting everybody connected. Have you guys heard of Than Merrill?
Oh, yeah.
With this house? That's who bought it from me.
Ah.
You know, it was really funny. When I first got into this, and about an hour north of San Diego, and I did a lot of my real estate business in San Bernardino, Riverside, which is like 2 hours north of San Diego. And somebody's like, you should go down to San Diego, it's a really good market. And I'm like, Dan Merrill's down there. And they're like, so, and I'm like, but he has this big show and this huge team, like, I can't compete with that, right? And now I'm wholesaling houses to him, which is really funny that he can't get deals that I can get. Now, I was going to get $10,000 on this, and he asked if I could bump it down. I thought he might be a good person to have a good relationship with, so I thought I would bump it down, and it worked out really well because now we're friends. So on this deal, so like I said, I keep the really good ones for myself. This, I only do low risk. This was super high risk. Half of the house was, I don't know how they got it permitted. It was permitted. It was not up to code, like at all. The interior walls were cinder block. We couldn't get the plumbing in half the house to work. We couldn't get the electrical to work. There were like windows in between rooms because you could tell it was an addition that wasn't done right, and the floors, like nothing was level. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't do high risk. He ended up doing it. So he paid. I secured it for $175 or $175. I sold it to him for $177,500. I know these are really low numbers for you guys, but I want you guys to wrap your head around this. Always under promise and over deliver. So I told him probably be about 40 grand worth of work, which is really high for, this is not a good part of town. We projected he would be able to sell it for $295. He ended up putting about like 42, 43 in, so we're kind of on point with the rehab, especially knowing there's like some major question marks involved. He ended up selling it for $315. So he sold it over projection, which is the other thing I see other rehabbers doing. Like they'll underinflate rehab costs and then overinflate what they can sell it for. You never will ever have repeat business again. Like always, pad your rehabs and then underestimate what you think they can sell it for, because then they'll come back again and again. So when he sold this property, he netted right around $100,000. So he's like, hey, Lindsay, when can I take you to lunch? When can we go to dinner? I would really like to hang out some more. I'd like to know how you get these really great deals. This is just a deal in the MLS. My agent found for me and knew how to run numbers, and she knew there's a lot of money in it. And then I have had so many people go, oh, do you regret not keeping that one? You made $2,500, you made $100,000. And I'm like, it was too high a risk. I don't do high risk, I do low risk. Because when I rehab houses, I have investors fund the entire thing, and then we just split the profits. And I can't play with somebody else's money like that. But out of it, I made $2,500 on vacation. I became friends with Dan Merrill, who does a ton of business. And yeah, so that's good, right? You guys can all do stuff like this? Yeah. Here's a check, $10,000, $18,000, $12,000. So the first step, we need to get into details, because I know it's getting late for you guys. So the first one is building your team of bird dog agents. The agents are your foundation of your business. If you hire the wrong agents, you don't make any money. I put up there 3 days. It's really about hiring the right agents. So what you're going to do is you're going to probably find about 20 agents, and out of 20 agents, 1 to 3 may work out. And I would recommend hiring between 3 and 5. They all work different areas and different territories. They can't cross over because then they're looking at each other's stuff, or they're both writing offers on the same properties. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to Google that area and agents, and look up who comes up on the first page, because they're doing something differently and they're doing something right. If they're top ranking on Google, right? Look at their websites. Look at Homes and Land, because you can see a little bit about their business. Are they REOs? Are they short sales? Are they new? Do they get lots of listings? Like, all of those are good for different reasons. A new agent's great because they have nothing else to do all day, right? But work for you. You have like an employee that's paid Short sales. You want short sales right now. REOs give you direct access to the bank. So really working with all these different types of agents is ideal. So what you're going to do is go through, find a list of 20 that you think are the best. Like go through the ML, or go through the internet, go through the real estate magazines. You can jump on Craigslist, because if somebody's posting on Craigslist, are they hungry? Are they wanting business? Are they doing something above and beyond? So they're probably going to reflect that in their business, right? And then out of those, you're going to just pick up the phone and ask them a couple qualifying questions to determine if they're really the right agent to work with you or not. Give them, so, what do I have up here for you guys? Okay. This is, I think this was since I've been here with you. I don't remember. I wanted to make more money, and to make more money in this, you pick up more territories and have more agents. And I was picking up the Palm Springs area, and I was training 3 new agents all at one time. And so I'd pick up the phone and talk to them about how to find deals, and then how to analyze them, and how to submit the offers, and then hang up the phone, and then do it again. And I'm like, this is really inefficient. Why don't I just write a book and tell them how to do it, and then I give them the book, and the book tells them how to do it, and then why don't I get an agent on the phone, and I'll screen capture, and I'll walk them through the MLS, finding the properties, I'll walk them through writing up the offer. I'm going to just screen capture it. And then I'm going to take that DVD and then send it to the new agents. Since they read the book and watch the video, that's what you're going to do for me. So that's what I've created. So I recommend using that, because then you don't have to train the agents. It's literally me training the agents for you. And then you guys will watch the deals come flooding in. So this is an agent. This is one of the agents that works for me in San Bernardino. She said she was hesitant at first because she didn't know anybody else doing deals this way. Within a week, the bank accepted our offer on Temple Street. Upon receiving the bank's acceptance of our offer, we opened escrow, and Lindsay already had a reassigned command buyer within 48 hours. It was very easy. So this is the biggest thing. Like, these agents will go again and again and again to work for you and find properties, because if you think about it, as an agent, they're traditionally working with normal buyers. And normal buyers are what? One-time buyers, right? We're repeat buyers. And not only is it us, but we're connected to several multimillionaires. So when you have when the agent has access to me or to you, then they also have access to 5 other people with a lot of money. So you're really a huge connection for them. And it's repeat business. And a standard buyer wants to look at, first of all, they have to fit all this criteria, and then they have to coordinate schedules to go and look at the property, and then they have to drive around and look at them, and it's usually a month, like several month process, until the home buyer goes into the home and is like, oh, this one feels good. We don't do that, right? Like, this is a numbers game. As investors, if the numbers work, if we can make money, we buy the house. So the agent, and it's not a 30-day escrow because we don't have banks involved. It's all cash, so it's usually 7 to 10 days. So they're quick escrows, they're easy escrows, and they're done again and again and again. And if she finds a deal and the numbers work and she secures it and she does her job, guess what? She gets paid. That sounds like a much better thing than working with this one person that wants to drive around for months and months and months and months, right? And then, I know some of you are like, I really like this and I want to go and see the properties. And then some of you are like, I just want to make the money. So, it's really whatever you guys want to do. It's easy. So the agents literally become like employees, and you don't have to pay them because they get paid at closing, but they would much rather work for you because it's easier. So agents get paid by the seller at closing. That's standard real estate, just across the board, anywhere you go in the U.S.
Normal commission split.
All we're doing is we're just doing normal real estate. We're just a buyer for them. So the second part is analyze the deals that they find for us. Now, again, I created this because I was in Silver Lake on vacation. That's the place by Mammoth. And I had an agent calling me, asking me, what should I offer on a property? And I'm sitting here going, I don't know. I've never been to that town. I don't know that area at all. You're supposed to be the local expert. You figure out what to offer, right? So I'm like, why don't I create an Excel spreadsheet that they can punch a couple numbers into and it'll automatically tell them what to offer on the property. So I don't have phone calls wasting my time. First of all, and second of all, I want to make their job easy, because if their job's easy, then they want to work with me. So what it does is it takes about 60 seconds and it analyzes whether it's a deal or a dud and exactly how much to offer. So this is the Easy Deal Analyzer, and I'm going to just sum it up for you guys right now. What the agent does is right here it says our price. This is just an Excel spreadsheet. So she'll type in what it's listed for. The agent will then estimate how much they think the repairs are going to be right there, and then they will estimate what they think they can sell it for fully rehabbed. And they press enter. And then right down here, it'll tell them what the ARV on this deal is. So this one is 60%. Now every area is completely different, but we put in there a target for them. So the goal on this was 65%. So this one came back at 60. So what does that mean? It means we have 5% wiggle room. Part of getting your offers always accepted is always going in there with your highest and best. So many other agents are like wanting to lowball and save a couple grand. I would rather get 5 deals and pay $3,000 more for each deal than get one deal and have saved 3 grand, because in the long run, who makes more money? Doing more deals. And then I have more connections and I've helped more people. So it's a much bigger picture when we all can win, rather than trying to make a chunk of money, right? So you always go in with your highest and best offer, first of all. And the second thing is, for me, it was creating that really stress-free, no-brainer lifestyle. So when I submit my offer, it's always the highest and best. So first of all, you're going to have a greater chance of it getting accepted because there's no wiggle room, right? You're not like leaving an area to wiggle with. The second thing is when the seller comes back that they want more money, the answer is no. There's no thought process. You're already moved on to the other 5 deals. Like, because you gave your highest and best and I've moved on. I can't make money over this amount. So in this area, I know that the cash buyers will only if I'm looking to stay at 65%, the cash buyers are probably paying around 68 to 69%. So I put a couple percent in there, and that's where my profit comes from. Does that make sense? And so what the agent will then do is she'll say, oh, I have 5% to play with. She'll go up, and right here in the deal analyzer, play with that number, and she'll put it up to 245, 244, 246 until it hits 65%. There we go. That's what we offer. Makes it really easy. I don't get phone calls. She knows exactly what she's allowed to offer. Now, how do you figure out what the ARV is?
Total comps in the area.
Okay, well, every area, yes, we're looking at comps in the area. 99% of agents don't know how to run comps. So, I was also a licensed appraiser. And so I did a little video showing them how to do it, because every area is different. And this is the beautiful thing for you guys, and this is the same exact conversation I have when I pick up a new agent. They'll say, so what do you buy in the area? I go, well, I need to know what your market's doing. And this is exactly, so where am I? Santa Barbara is really pricey. People pay a lot up here. I mean, you're looking at what, like 85% ARV? Is that kind of on point? It's been a while since I looked up here. And so what I say to the agent is, I really need to see what your market's doing, because in San Bernardino, investors are paying 65%, in San Diego, they're paying 72%, in Temecula, they're paying 76%, and here's the thing, so in Santa Barbara, they're paying 85%, and I come from San Bernardino paying 65%, will I ever get a deal accepted here? Never. I'm like way low. And then if I'm an investor here at 85%, and then I go to San Bernardino, I'll get every deal, but I'm way overpaying, right? And then I won't even be able to reassign it because investors So what you've got to do is you got to know the market. Now this is really, really easy. It's all in the MLS, but most agents don't know how to do it. And about one person in every training I do argues with me that it can't be done. And then I go in there and I prove them that it can be done. And I have it on the training videos. But what you do is you go in and you see what's sold for all cash, and then what it was ultimately flipped for at the end. You literally do this with it. What did the investor pay for all cash? What do you think they put in rehab, and what did they sell it for? Because you'll be able to find both of the listings in the MLS. You'll be able to find the listing they sold it for. You'll be able to find the listing they bought it for. And then you look at the pictures and you go, okay, they did the kitchen, and they did a really nice kitchen, or they just painted the cabinets. Like, you can kind of estimate. And then guess what? You do that 5 times, and you're going to see a consistent trend. You throw out the highs, you throw out the lows, and there's going to be a consistent number. That's your market. Does this make sense? Like, this is, you guys, like, everything I do is really common sense and easy. I don't know why everybody makes this so difficult. Do you guys like this so far?
Yeah.
How do your agents estimate repairs? Thank you.
A really good question. If they don't know how to do it, which a lot of them don't know how to do it, you need to have them call a contractor and just meet them at the property and just say, you know, I'm starting to work with a group of investors and they want to fix and flip and rehab, and I have no idea what costs are. I don't know if you'll get any work out of it. Here's the thing, most agents already work with a couple handyman or contractors anyways, and contractors in general give lots of bids out, like that's part of their job. Here's the thing, if you ever need a contractor for anything, whoever helps you or helps the agent is going to get all that work. So have an agent go and walk them through the house on how much a kitchen's going to cost, and a bathroom, and electrical, and flooring, and the agent can just write down a spreadsheet and then just take it with them in every house so that they can run through a house. And you know, that's a really good question. This DVD is actually me going through properties with my agent. They're properties that I was training him on how to analyze rehabs, determining did we like the neighborhood, did we not, how much are we offering, what are we keeping, what are we not keeping. Who wants this? That's it, nobody else wanted it? So those are some of the trainings that I have to train the agents. It's really important understanding the market and going through it. Boldness is rewarded. That's what that was about. So step 3 is submitting yes offers. Now this still applies right now. It's extremely competitive. I have a 95% acceptance rate. Now, I've already kind of touched on a lot of this. Never, ever, ever lowball. Always go in with the best offer you possibly can. Part of that is understanding what your seller wants. You guys, you really got to think about this. So many investors go in there and they're like, what do I want? What do I want to offer? What's a good deal for me? Do you think they get their offers? They don't. There's like 30 offers. If you go in there saying, what does the seller want? How can I position this? How do I stand out among all the other offers? They're all cash. They all look the same for the most part, right? Tiny little details are different. How do yours stand out? First of all, when you pick an agent, you need to pick an agent that you like to work with, that sounds really great on the phone, that's friendly and personable, and doesn't, you know, chat your ear off or sound negative or complain, because guess what? If they're not fun to talk to on the phone, do you think the other agent's going to want to talk to them and take their offer? No, like they're literally representing you. So that's a big part of it. But always having what is it the seller wants in mind is the biggest thing. So you guys are still dealing with some short sales and some REOs.
Oh, you did?
You're dealing with a bank loss mitigator that's working with 50 different states and 50 different state contracts. Do you think they have them all memorized? No, they don't. So what you need to do is you need to write up a really clean offer that makes yours stand out. One of those things is, in California, it's standard for a seller to pay the natural hazard disclosure, which is $100. It's standard for the seller to pay termite inspection, which is like $60, $70. It's standard for the seller to pay all these little incidental fees. These are California-specific fees. They don't have them in other states. So the loss mitigator doesn't have all these state-specific fees remembered. So all they're looking at is 15 contracts, 10 contracts, 30 contracts, and they all look the same because it's all standard buyer-seller stuff. And then this one comes in. And this one just says that the seller's paying for everything. The seller's paying the NHD, the termite, the transfer taxes, the HOA. It's not in an HOA, okay? It's paying the city fees, like it's paying the code violations. It doesn't have any code violations. But you sit there and you go and you're like, I'm gonna pay all these fees. There's like either no fees, the fees are zero, or they're $100 or less, right? And they're like, wow, this person's really serious. And then you also put that the seller's inspected the property, or the seller's representative, if the agent's representing you, has inspected the property and accepts it in as-is condition. The other thing I put is if you already have a bank addendum. Sometimes you know exactly what the seller wants ahead of time because there's a bank addendum. Copy those terms exactly. How many days they want in escrow, how much earnest money they want, if they're going to make a contingency release early, like whatever their terms are, just write them up in the offer, because whatever you write up in the offer, they're going to counter with those terms anyways, so just do it right the first time, okay? The other thing I say, you guys, I want you to write this down. Buyer, this is in a section just other. Buyer intends to profit on the sale at some point in the future. I just always put that in there as a safety clause, like so nobody can ever come back and go, I didn't know you were going to make $30 flipping this house or assigning this house, or you made all this money doing this, and well, I put it right there that I intend to make money on this. And who doesn't? Like, people don't buy real estate to lose money, right? Like, never ever lowball, we already talked about that, and use the easy deal analyzer. This is all common sense stuff, right? And it's so sad that most people don't think it out this simply. Yes?
So before you write the contract, since you have no contingencies, are your buyers already committed to?
Really good question. No contingencies. So the other thing I do is I leave my contract as is. So you guys are really lucky because in California, you have a blanket clause of 17 days. It's already written into the contract. Just leave it alone. You're protected. Like, you could walk through the house and be like, ooh, my heels sound funny on this floor. I don't want it. That's what the contingency period is in California. You have 17 days to change your mind for any reason, no reason. I just changed my mind. They don't have that in a lot of other states. A lot of other states are 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, and it's written into the contract. You guys have 17 written in. So the only way it's going to be different is if the bank asks for it to be different. And you just have to work with the bank at that time. And what you do is you tell the cash buyer, hey, your contingencies fall off on day 3, on day 5, on day 10, whatever it is. Most of the time, when you just leave that area blank, like leave it as it is in the contract and don't bring attention to it, nobody says anything or does anything. Which is actually crazy because that means you've written up a contract for a 10-day close with a 17-day contingency period, which means you actually have 0 risk the entire time. Does that make sense? Like this is a California thing. Like, you guys are really lucky because I go and I'll talk to people in other states and they're like, well, we don't have that. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're lucky here in California. We have lots of opportunities. We have a ridiculous contract.